Test, test, test.
Sanford home state is New Hampshire.
And we are back to BBTV. Thank you guys so much for joining today's live stream. Wow, GloveFest 2025 is off to a great start. Would y'all agree?
Absolutely.
Y'all are up here, so.
Yeah. Well, it was good until now. We'll see what happens.
Okay. We'll have to see how the next live stream goes. But guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. Talk a little bit about GloveFest and then what we're going to do in this live stream. First off, GloveFest. It is a celebration of baseball gloves, baseball leather, craftsmanship, and just a piece of equipment that everyone develops such an attachment to. Everyone remembers their first ball glove. Oh, looks like we got Ryan Smith here already. I'll talk about that guy in a second. But GloveFest, celebration of gloves. We have so much going on. We got our design lab. We have our customization station. We got free engravings. We got donation. We got silent auction. We've got the super rare glove collection. All of it is to celebrate baseball gloves. So in today's live stream, we have Wilson with us. This is going to be a long one because we like to talk. So I have Marco, Petro, and on the screen, we got Mr. Ryan Smith. So I'll let you guys introduce yourself, and we'll get into it.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So for those, first of all, I would like a large round of applause for the people that made this possible. So our Master of Ceremonies, Michael Bice, Brett, Sean. There's about 20 to 25 people running around here in better baseball clothing. Thanks, man. This is something that is really, really special to me because this is a community that has existed for quite some time, but it's a community that's never really had the opportunity to be together in one place. And so to just be willing to put up a tent for all of us and let us do this and learn from it, and hopefully there's a GloveFest Sec 2 and a GloveFest 3. I don't know if we'll ever catch up to WrestleMania or UFC, but if we can do this in the future and learn from what we all really value here, it's pretty cool. And so I'm just really glad we have something like this to do. So I talk a lot. My name is Marco. Actually, myself, Mr. Bice, and Mr. Piotrowski, our names are all Michael. So we'll just skip those. My name's Marco. This is Petro. I have been with Wilson for 22 years. I am the commercial, the fancy title is Global Commercial Director of Baseball. What that means for me is I do all the stuff that's not fun. There are people that make the product. There are people that market the product, that make the videos, that go out to ball fields and see people. I don't do any of that anymore. I used to, but now someone's got to be in charge of the pennies and nickels and dimes, and so I do that part. But what I also serve as is our unofficial historian in the ball glove space because I've been doing it for a while and working with a lot of the people that have. So in this space in particular, it's really, it's humbling for me because a lot of the stuff that guys have pulled out of their bags is product that I worked on a long time ago. And I passed that torch on to Ryan Smith in 2012. So Ryan joined us in 2012. And Ryan and I met at a sporting goods store in Arizona where I was showing some stuff to somebody who wasn't him. I wanted to talk to the store manager to get some feedback on some prototypes. And to be quite honest, the store manager didn't have a whole lot to offer. But there was this mouthy kid in the back of the store that from 50 feet away had all these opinions. And the store manager said, I don't listen to him. He's just the guy that fixes the gloves. I'm like, no, man, I want to hear what that guy has to say. And within about 20 minutes of meeting Ryan, I kind of recognized that this guy's better at this job than I'm ever going to be. So we hired him shortly thereafter. There's another gentleman that couldn't be with us today, a guy named Jeremy Young. That was someone else that Ryan worked with in the community that repaired gloves and had really, really good insights. And the person sitting to my left, Petro, is a guy that I met working in our store in Omaha at the College World Series. Show of hands, who's been to the College World Series here in the room? Few folks. It is a great place. For all things baseball. It's one of my favorite places to go. And Petro was an intern that worked on the floor selling gloves. And about 5 minutes after meeting him and seeing he was better at it than I was like, oh, I found my replacement for this job too. But it's a fun thing to be a part of this industry and to do it. And I am curious to hear from a few of you out there. And this is going to be not us talking at you. This session is not about Wilson. It is not about us telling you why Wilson's great. It's really about getting this community to connect and all sort of and hear all points of view. It isn't Ask Me Anything for the three of us, for sure. But I'm going to ask you something to start, right? So what I want to know, and I'll start with our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Bice, to start us off, since he's good at talking. There is a point at which you fell in love with baseball gloves that motivated you and Brett and Sean to put this on. There's something that made you feel that a baseball glove or a softball glove was something more than just a tool to go out and play a game that made you fall in love with it. And I'm curious if you can pinpoint what that time or what that glove is there. Is there a time or a glove or a moment that you can say, I love this. This is something I want to learn more about.
Yes. I'd say there's 2 or 3 stories. I'll start with the very first one. One of my first times going to Better Baseball across the street, I actually shared this story yesterday. My dad brought a buddy, and he was walking through the aisles smelling the gloves, and he could tell you what kind of leather it was. He was smelling, goes, that's some good steer. That seems like Kip. And then he smelled one 2 or 3 times, and it was Nakona, and he finally said, is that ostrich leather? And it had ostrich in it. It was just unbelievable. And I was like, I want to know how to do that. That seems really cool. And then the second story that always peeks out to me the most, and we actually have the glove up here, which is pretty cool. One of my bosses, Rocco, back in the old store, it was near 4th of July. Glove hadn't released yet. And he goes, hey, I got something really cool I want to show you. And brings up this glove to me. And he shows it to me and goes, isn't this cool? I was like, this is the coolest glove I've ever seen in my life. And I said, Dad, I'm going to buy it. And he goes, no. And I said, I'm going to buy it with my money. He goes, no. And I was like, why? And he was like, Michael, that's a white pitching glove. You can't use it. And I was like, I don't want to use it. Long story short, I left without the glove that day, and I was like heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken. Well, now this glove is very, very rare, very hard to get. You'll spend probably $2,000 if you want one. I ended up getting one actually a few months ago, which is awesome. But that was the moment that I saw a glove that was so innovative and showed so much personality and character. That was a big moment that I fell in love with gloves. And then now, being older, getting to meet Ryan and this team, he got to tell me like the whole backstory of the glove, and it was just like mind-boggling. So yeah, I'd say those 2 stories are like my first step in falling in love with leather and baseball gloves.
All right, I want to ask a couple people out there as well. So, let me borrow this for a second. So Bice is going to run around a lot with the microphone today. Most of you are too young to know who Phil Donahue is, but he's going to do that. And I want to pick a couple people out to tell us that story as well. And I'll pick a couple of people that I know have stories. But they don't necessarily know I'm going to pick on them. So we'll see if you're a little nervous that you might get picked on, it might be true. Dutch, I'm going to pick on you.
Dutch, hop over here.
So if you could take the microphone over to Dutch. And guys, if you are an influencer in this community and you want people to know how to find you online, you don't have to do that, but if you're someone who has a following online, I want everyone at home that's watching this to know the collection of really interesting cats that have shown up for this. So please tell people how to find you on Instagram, your name, a little about yourself if you want to, but then most importantly, tell us what made you fall in love with this.
Let's go.
So 405 Baseball, I go by Dutch. Got that name from our friend Jay, Pickle the Beast. Got into gloves basically by working on them. It was just I was a fixer of problems. I've been working on stuff, cars, houses, anything like that. So got to high school and I really wanted to work on them. Went from just taking stuff apart, putting the lace back in. And then my buddy hands me this Heart of the Hide. He's like, hey, can you fix this? I said, yeah. He's like, what do you want for it? I said, $20, like fix a lace or whatever. He goes, take this, A2000 X2. First high-end glove I had was an X2.
That's awesome.
One of my favorite models, just because of that, and you never see that 11-inch glove. Like.
So Dutch turned away from the microphone, so I'm going to give that to him. His first glove, that's all right, you don't have to look at me. Tell all that. Nobody wants to look at me. First glove you ever got was an X2, which is a really obscure Wilson 11-inch infielder's model, but it is, to a lot of glove nerds like me, it's a cool piece.
Everyone that knows that glove is shaking their heads.
Yeah,
it reminds me that everyone's
That's
like,
cool.
oh, yeah,
That's
we
cool.
know that one.
Yeah.
It was just the super skin, orange tan with the black single-piece web, and I fell in love from there.
Yeah.
And it was, how can I get more? Because I always grew up with just the cheap glove. It was just, oh, go get that $70 glove. You busted a lace, go get another one. I was like, I'm tired of just replacing. I'd rather fix the one I have and run with that, and then you get that higher end glove and you just fall in love with it.
Yeah,
and then you're like, oh, they can become art now too. It become crazy schemes, and it's like it's usable art.
Yeah, when you get a high-end glove and you know how to fix it, that glove can go with you for an entire career, and you just continue to build that bond with a baseball glove that we've all had before.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Love that. Love that.
That's awesome. Thanks, Dutch. I appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Judge.
I'm looking for him. I saw him earlier. Where's Ace at? So we heard from an old dude, but I'm going to see if we can find Ace. I see Ace's dad over there. So go grab him. I'm going to ask Petro next, but then we're going to find Ace, because one thing that's really cool about this, and if you're here, there are young people that are 12 or 13 years old. There's old dudes like me, and there's everybody in between, right? So this is not something for a certain age or a certain group. There's a lot of kids in here in their uniforms today that have stopped by. We did a relacing clinic earlier this morning that was just awesome. Cam, who is I don't know, what's Cam's official title, Vice?
We just call him the master craftsman.
Master-
He's just like our glove guy.
You're
glove
master-
guy, fix the gloves, do all the things, tinker, experiment, fix, and
All right, so Petro, I'm going to put you back on deck. We're going to bring Ace up. So Ace is a young man we met last night, and he's kind of just started in this community, started making some content, but was really, really into what has been going on here. And I love seeing guys that are his age come out and want to do something like this and take part in what we're doing. So Ace, what made you want to start really being a content creator for gloves, and what made you fall in love with this stuff? Oh, and let people know how to find you online and things like that as well.
You can find me at Ace Loves Gloves on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I think mainly just started collecting, and I'm not sure exactly how it started, but I just love gloves. I love feeling on my teammates' gloves. I feel like that's how a lot of people say it started. And I had an injury for the last year and a half and couldn't play, and so that was a big thing for me to start. Creating content, and so that's what I could do with my time because I wasn't playing.
That makes sense. You couldn't do the thing you love to do, right? So then you found a way to stay connected to it. And when I ask you this question, it doesn't need to be a Wilson. What's your favorite glove right now today? What's your favorite?
It is.
Okay, I did not know that. Again, it's okay if it's not.
No, it is. It's a Wilson Bear Catcher's mitt that I got in Japan.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Those are not easy to come by either.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool, man. Thanks. Well, thank you for being here. Thanks for coming all this way from California to do this and be taking part in the rest of this. Again, this is a conversation today, so feel free if you got ideas, just punch Bice in the stomach and take the microphone and go from there.
Yeah, this kid's going to be my replacement one day, by the way. So his content's really good, so give him a follow. And it was really cool watching some of the kids here yesterday when Mizuno was presenting, just glued into history of gloves.
Yeah.
You couldn't get them to do that in school, but when it's here at Glove Fest, we got them.
Got him. All right, Petro, what about you?
How's it going, everyone? My name's Mike Piotrowski. People call me Petro for short. Between the mics, you're good to call me that, whatever works. But my story for what got me into loving ball gloves is a little bit of a story of being uneducated about gloves, how to take care of them, like a part of Glove Fest, and like kind of speaking to a little bit of like Cam's demo this morning with relacing, like learning how to take care of your glove, how to use it. My parents got my first ever pro stock level glove was a Mizuno Pro. I was like 11 years old. It was way too much glove for me at the time.
I was going to say 11 for a Mizuno Pro is pretty crazy.
I mean, very, very fortunate that they got me one of those, but way too much glove for me at the time. Had no clue how to break it in right. My hand was probably too small for it. Whatever. I knew through using it how quality of a glove, the high quality glove it was. Mm-hmm. And when I learned how to better use a glove, like I realized like I didn't break this thing in very well. Like I realized how I didn't make this glove right for me. Like whether it was right or wrong for me from the beginning, it doesn't matter. Like I became dedicated to, for my next one or even that one, learning how to improve that, and for my next gloves, like how to take care of them, learning the break-in process, really buy into how a glove needs to be shaped and taking the time to break it in and appreciating that. That's something that gets lost a little bit today. And I understand it's not the easiest thing in the world. It can be intimidating, breaking in a glove, but you know, that's how it becomes yours. Speaking to some of the points already made, like a ball glove is something you emotionally connect with, emotionally, psychologically. When you're on the field, it becomes a part of you. It becomes second nature. Like, learn how to make that glove a part of yourself. And I realized that first really amazing glove I had, I didn't treat it that way. And so I devoted myself moving forward in my playing career, and now in this role, being so lucky to work at Wilson, like, treat it like it is yourself, like your body. And so like that's the story behind my love for this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think we need to get to Ryan, but
cool. Yeah, we are.
I want to do a giveaway before we get into Ryan Smith's story.
Ryan, just so you know, Bice is in charge of all giveaways today, so he's going to interrupt us a lot.
All right. So, in honor of Ohtani, had to grab an SA-17. There's a lot of people here. I don't know if you guys are going to really know this very, very difficult trivia question. Maybe it's hard, maybe it's not. How many bombs did Ohtani hit tonight? That was a lot of people. I don't know who had it first. I'm tossing this guy right here. There you go, dude. Yep, that's it, bro. 3 bombs. Free glove for that guy right there. If you didn't win that one, don't worry. We got a few more gloves we're going to give out. I think we even got some bobbleheads and stuff. But, you know, in honor of Ohtani, babe, we had to give him a glove. So there we go. Yeah,
absolutely. How cool is that? So the story behind that glove. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna ask Ryan Smith to tell us how he got here and tell us our story. Like, what's your story, Ryan, of how you fell in love with the gloves, like way back in the day? What made you want to be around this more? And then tell him the story about that Ohtani glove that kid just got there.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't see anything going on, so I have no idea.
It was the Better Baseball. It was the Better Baseball exclusive. Sorry, that's right. You can't see what's going on. They can see you, so don't pick your nose. But he just got the Better Baseball exclusive Ohtani glove. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. The young man just got the Better Baseball exclusive Shohei Ohtani pattern glove. So that's the one that the young man just got.
Okay. Okay, so how I got into gloves? Well, I've always loved ball gloves. I'm a lefty, so ball gloves were harder for me to come by, especially where I grew up. I grew up in a small town in Michigan. So my favorite player growing up was Ken Griffey Jr. and I started looking at what he was using. Everybody knows he was a Rollins Pro TV 24, so I wanted that glove. So I ordered my first real good pro glove, leather glove off of, oh man, what was it at the time? I think Eastbay? Yeah, Eastbay Women. So that's how I really started getting into it, and I started fixing it because I liked how the lace was. I wanted to change the colors out. So that got me into fixing gloves or repairing gloves. I did a few other jobs throughout life. But then I got a job at a baseball shop in Arizona where I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I had a couple skills that went hand in hand. One was I knew how to repair gloves. So I started doing that. I met Marco. And then Marco was all about open and honest feedback, and that's what I did. And so from that point, I told him what I thought about things. He gave me a Wilson glove. I went out and basically gained it 2 days later in the adult league game and threw out every Rollins glove I ever had after that. And I have been sold on the craftsmanship and the quality since, and I'm so happy that I get to continue on now in being the one to bring more craftsmanship, more quality, more innovation to the ball glove world because honestly, I spoke my mind.
Yeah, I mean, that's really important. It's a core value for Wilson, right? Is that there's a guy named Bill Kirchner who's worked for us years ago. Bill was an intimidating guy. He was the head of our sales force. And Bill would always say feedback is a gift. And that's one of the things we still believe to this day is that feedback is a gift. But I always say it's like, my mom and my wife were always really nice to me. I don't need feedback to tell us how great we are. The most important feedback we get is the critical feedback and the things that we can do better, which is one thing I love about the people here that are the longtime members of the glove community is they do not hold back. They tell you everything you can do better in painstaking detail, but that is the kind of stuff that makes us better, and it's what I loved about Ryan and why he's in charge of our player feedback. We make gloves for ball players always, right? So that is one of the things that we do, and the ball players are our bosses. So everyone in this room today is our boss in that regard. That goes for Aso as well, for what it's worth. Aso couldn't be here today. He got a very minor medical procedure done this morning. He's fine, but he couldn't be here today. But that's always what we've learned from him. In his over 50 years of doing this, ball players tell us what to do. It's our job to execute, and that's really what this is all about. So we've got a bunch of gloves. That's why you all guys came here. It's not really to hear from me or Petro as much as tell the stories about the gloves. So we're going to do that. I'll start with one. I'll start with the one glove that made me fall in love with this. But then, most importantly, we're going to tell some stories about some gloves that are on the table. We are going to always throw your hand up or go get that microphone from Bice because we want your questions. This is a dialogue. I'm going to fill the air if you guys aren't giving us topics or things to talk about. But we want all you guys to really dominate this conversation. But I'll start us off with the glove that made me fall in love with it. And this is an A2000L from about 1999 or 2000. And this one's special for me not because it's autographed, because of how I got it. I was a buyer for a regional sporting goods store called Gart Sports out in Denver, Colorado. I was about Bice's age at that point. I was way over my head. I'd worked for a store called Sport Mart that was in Chicago and LA and San Francisco before that as a young administrative assistant, and got a chance to join this company in Denver, and they eventually made me their baseball buyer, which was really cool. And the first time I got to meet the people from Chicago, they found out I was a Cubs fan living in Denver. And they gave me this glove right here, which is a pro issue Kerry Wood glove that Kerry had signed for me. So if you're a buyer in a place that writes big checks for merchandise, it's not a bad idea to give that guy a gift and let him know that you're his friend. I'm not going to say it made me buy more Wilsons, but I'd say it made me a fan for life, for sure, at that point. So for me, this was the first time I had ever seen a glove like that. And I always thought of, the gloves you see at the store or the gloves that everybody gets. And there's a thing one of the guys said yesterday, I can't remember if it was the Rawlings group or the Mizuno group, but it's true for all of us that are in this. There's no difference between what you get in the store and what a pro gets. There's this myth out there that there's this special leather locked in a secret vault for the pro guys. Man, I want to tell you we're that organized and we're that crafty. We are not. We make pro stock leather. The order goes to the factory. It is translated into their native language. They don't know who these people are. They are just making the thing they are making, whether it be for Kerry Wood or Mookie Betts, or the one you placed on Wilson.com as a custom or a Better Baseball exclusive. If it's a custom, they know it's a one-of-one. But other than that, they are making them all the same. It's the same folks that are making all of them. But for me, it was special because you couldn't get your name on a glove at the time. That was just something that was available to the public. And it has these cool features on it for us that we've evolved so much over time. Like the L is a classic pitching pattern. It's got the dual hinge on it. It's got this hinge up here, these old logos and things like that, the old pro sleeve on it. It's got our dual welting. And all these things that are on here are things that Aso forever, and Ryan for the last 12 or 13 years, the meticulous detail into why these things have been updated between now and then, that's an hour story just on this glove. But it's really the obsession that all these great glove companies have. A couple of new friends I've made from Nakona are here. My favorite glove of all time, I'm not embarrassed to say, is a Nakona first base mitt that I got from Robbie Story about 25 years ago as a buyer. I love that glove, and it got stolen. If I ever find the guy who did it, it's not going to end well. That's the best glove I have ever had, right? It's amazing. There's so much great product in the world today that's being made by so many great glove companies. So we're proud of what we do. I could spend all day telling you why we're great. We like our position on what we do. There's not a lot of bad Rawlings gloves out there, not a lot of bad Mizunos, not a lot of bad Nakonas, and so many young up-and-comers that are entering the space, these boutique craftsmen brands from Japan. There's a couple in here I saw yesterday. It's really, really nice. It's a cool thing to be a part of, and we're all learning from each other on this. You know, in many industries, copying from your neighbor is frowned upon. In this industry, if your neighbor does something really well, you figure out how to make it your own, and then maybe make it a little better, and then the next person takes that over. So this glove to me kind of represents all of those different things.
I think we do have a quick question from the crowd before we get to the next segment. Guys, continue to come up to me and just be like, hey, I got a question really quick. We'll just kind of stop in the next segment and we'll go on. So, we got a question right here.
All right. Hey, guys. I just wanted to quickly say I think what I loved most about Wilson as a ball player growing up was the connection that you guys had with the ball gloves to the players. So I grew up watching every Glove Day video, so you're a very familiar face.
Sorry.
My glove was a DW5, and you know, as a kid, it was so fun. I tried to replicate it, David Wright's fair-handed catch, and my question kind of comes from that. I know the DP15 is a famous story of Dustin Pedroia having specific needs for his glove, and something great for consumers coming out of that, something that benefits youth players, players of all levels. Is there another model or an attribute of a glove that kind of came through that same way that doesn't get as much light shined on it, like the DP15?
Yeah, I'm going to ask Ryan to take that one. There's a DW5 story that I can tell, or you can tell.
Can you get closer to the speaker here?
Oh, yeah.
I can't really hear you guys.
Sorry, Ryan. So there's the gentleman asked, he's like, he knows the Pedroia story, but is there another cool story about a glove that really was developed with a player that really informed us and what we do, and that's a good one? And he mentioned the DW5. And I can tell the DW5 story. That's one, I think, before your time. But is there a player story you can think of that really had an impact on your design or an element we took forward that you can that comes to mind?
Man, you put me on the spot.
I did. So I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to tell the DW5 story, and then you think about that one. But the DW5 story, it's actually the perfect question to ask, because I had just mentioned that we copy off of each other in this industry. We do, right? It's one of those things we do. And David Wright was a player that used a Rawlings when he first came up. And we had a great relationship, and still have a great relationship with his agent, a man named Sam Levinson. Him and his brother Seth run Aces, which is one of the biggest agencies for Major League Baseball players. And we really, really wanted David Wright to be the face of our franchise, and we were able to get David to come over. But the condition for that was he loved his Rawlings glove he played with, and we needed to duplicate that product to the best of our ability. And so that was really where it started, is there was a Rawlings pattern, and I don't know if Ryan remembers the Rawlings pattern. Someone in this room probably does. What the was is that the Rawlings version of that. But that is what Aso started with, and really it came down to, another thing I think the Mizuno guy said yesterday is, like, you can have great leather, but if you don't have the craftsmanship to go with it, it doesn't matter, and that's so true. And so for Aso, it's about looking at the glove and trying to recreate it, taking it apart and all that. But then really what really sold it for David was Aso breaking that glove in and really making it feel like the other one that he had, and really replicating that performance. And year after year, Aso studying that glove, saying, I think I can make it a little better. I can move a lace hole a millimeter and a half to the southeast, and that's going to make a difference. It sounds so trivial, but it does. It makes wrinkles go away. It makes the glove close better. It makes a pocket a little bit deeper. And that was really what it was. So I want to tell you, there was some big organic session with David where we picked his brain and got there. He's like, I love this glove, but if you're going to have me wear yours, it's got to be that good. And Aso was able to make that happen for him.
Hold on. Baseball, let me make some noise! Yeah, I'm Porter Prancer Suave, and I got a P-A-R-T-Y because I got it. And here in Banana Land with Wilson, I think it's about a time for another giveaway.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, since you can't see what's going on, we got a party crash with the party animals just came in. He's taking over the stage for a few minutes, so we'll get back to you in just a moment. But he's in charge now, so we're going to have to wait for us to come to him until someone takes him away.
All right, so I'm going to ask a question, and I'm just going to show of hands for the answer so I can tell who's got it right. So, for the 2025 Banana Ball World Tour, who is the Triple Crown winner? That guy right there. What's his name? What's his name?
The question was, who is the Triple Crown winner for the Banana Ball World Tour? Is the question. And we need a name.
He does play for the Party Animals.
He does play for the Party Animals. The young man got that right. Ryan, look,
That's it.
That's
There
it,
you go.
Jake Skoll. He got it. Young man got it right here. Very nice. Ryan, I'm sorry you didn't get picked. Maybe Mr. Suave will pick. Maybe Mr. Suave will pick you next time. Mr. Suave, so these people don't think you're just a random person who showed up by accident. Why don't you tell them who you are?
I am a cast member for the Party Animals. I am Party Crasher Suave, and I bring chaos and the fun. And I will be set up in the back. I have some freebies to give out. Don't be afraid to come say hi, chat, banana ball, baseball, whatever. And that's it.
Mr. Suave, thank you very much, and definitely go back and see him. And if you have not been to a banana ball game, you are missing out. It is the most fun you can have in a park from the minute you get out of your car until the minute you go home. Guys like Mr. Suave and everybody else are there to make baseball as fun as it can be. So definitely go check that out. All right, Ryan, back to your story from the crowd. Back to your story from the crowd, Ryan. You're up.
I got two for you that I thought of. All right, the first one. Do you have the glove with you, the Alex Cobb American flag one?
We do. Petro's going to hold that up right now, and then Mr. Bice is going to show that to the camera.
How that happened. All right, so back in, oh man, I think it was 2016 that we did that, maybe 2015. We were at Rays camp, and we were the official ball glove of MLB at the time. And there was a rule that you can't have flags on gloves. Well, Alex, his two gloves that he had that we were giving him had an American flag on it. And a lot of times we would let the players see it. Hey, you designed it, you got a flag on it. And then I would take my scalpel out and I'd cut it off and tell them about the rule. Most of the time players would be cool about it. Saw Alex, he's a super nice guy. And he was just like, oh, okay. And I cut it off. And he took his gloves, he seemed fine with it, and he came back a little bit later, and he was just asking questions like, well, what's the fine? Our fines go to charity. And I'm like, I don't know, you'd have to ask somebody like in the organization, I don't know that. Walked off, didn't really see him the rest of the time. I'm standing on the fence watching practice because I think it was a Saturday, I didn't really have any meetings after any of our glove days that day, so I'm sitting on the fence and I'm watching practice, and I look out to my right, and I remember this, and he's walking over toward me, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, oh, no. Here we go. And he just came over and he's like, well, what can you do? I'm like, you know what? And that's when it finally dawned on me. I was like, they say you can't have a flag on your glove, but they didn't say your glove can't be a flag. I can at least make you something cool. But I was still thinking about like why, I'm like, why is this so important to him? Well, on the ride home back to our where we were staying in Sarasota from Port Charlotte, we looked up and we found out that Alex Cobb's brother is a captain in the U.S. Army. And that's why he had the flags on the gloves. So that night I texted the clubhouse manager from the Rays and said, can you please give Alex my number, have him text me. Within 10 minutes later, Alex texted me. I apologized to him after finding all of that out, and then told him I got something for him. And that's how that glove came about. And Marco, we gave one to everybody in his unit, or his brother's unit too, didn't we?
We did, yeah. We made sure that everybody in the unit was able to have, so they were playing, I forgot where they were stationed. They were stationed in the Middle East, and the guys really wanted to play. So we sent a bunch of equipment over, bats and gloves and balls and everything, because the guys wanted to play. So yes, we gave them the gloves, but we also gave them everything else they could actually play when they were on downtime and they were on break and things like that.
Yeah. So that was kind of one, because it kind of shaped about like how to make a glove look a little bit different, with flags. And so you've seen where we've come since then with all the stuff we do on 4th of July. And the next one I can think of, which really started the printing on gloves that everybody's going crazy with, was I met with Sean Doolittle when he first signed with us, and he was a big Grateful Dead fan. He wanted to have some things, an ode to Grateful Dead. And he was like, get experimental, have fun. And the first thing I could think of was tie-dye. Like, let's make a tie-dye glove. So we started trying to do that, and that was the first one that's kind of led to now where we are with all of the crazy wild things that like we do, and I know every other brand does it too now. But that was really the inspiration, was Sean Doolittle saying, I love the Grateful Dead, I want to do something kind of wild for them. And I mean, that's the stuff I love to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that we've stumbled into some of the things that have created the environment we have now with gloves, and it's always been rooted in player engagement, right? That's the one thing that's not different in any of these stories. We live to serve the player. We have bosses that like money. There's no doubt about that. Wilson is a for-profit company. Our parent company is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. They like money a lot. And Petro and I have to figure out how to navigate that. But at the same time, we work for the ball player, and that's what we come to work for every day. And so that's who drives our decision making. And so for us, there is more art in baseball gloves now than there ever has been. It is really cool to see. You see guys like Devin, who's over here on over my right shoulder here, that has a brand called DC Gloves. He's now a member of the Better Baseball team. He's taken this to a whole new level of taking gloves and dyeing them and decorating them and doing something special. The Nakona Group yesterday, they're putting literal diamonds on gloves. If you got an extra $2,000 in your pocket, you can get one of those. You see what the people at Rawlings are doing and all the different, and they're doing art installations in their museum in St. Louis, and they're going and undertaking these projects like they talked about the junkyard yesterday, and they made a glove completely out of recycled junkyard parts. I mean, this is really, really interesting, amazing stuff. You know, that's not our wheelhouse. It's not, but we do feel some responsibility for, we kind of kicked this off because we started to take these ball gloves that are always made for the field, but they are pieces of art, right? And so for us, it's always ball player first. That is the thing we care about most, but we want to bring style to it. We want to bring a little bit of swagger to it. And when our ball players tell us these things that matter to them, those are the things that really make their way in. And this whole like glove as a flag thing, like it's been a thorn in our side for a while. Like it's always, one of the things always bugged us that was a thing MLB had. And so one of the gloves I've got on the table, that was another iteration of that, right? So I like to show the things for us that don't make it to market, right? The things that you try and fail, because failure is how you eventually succeed. So Petro, if you want to hold that one up. So I'm a proud Chicagoan, and this is from my personal collection at home. It's never been out anyplace. We haven't shown it before, but we Chicagoans, we're proud of our flag. That's something we're very proud of. And this whole, you can't put a flag on your glove, but you can make the glove a flag. I wanted those 4 Chicago stars to really be more prominent, and I asked Aso what we could do, and so he said we can actually fuse those 2 middle fingers together and give you a bigger panel. So when you put that glove on, there's 4 finger stalls inside it like everything else, and anyone who wants to pass that around, if you want to grab that and put it on, I mean, it feels weird, right? But it was an idea that it plays like any other glove, but it gave you more surface area on the palm side, so you've got those 2 fingers fused together. And it was really cool for what I wanted to do, which was show a flag. And then we showed it to players, and they're like, what is this? And they were very freaked out by it, and nobody wanted to play baseball with it, which is why it lives in my closet now, and it didn't make it out to the field, right? So you try these things, you have the master craftsman tinker with it, you bring it out. Sometimes it just doesn't hit, and that's okay. But then, how did we do? Ryan has done a nice job turning our gloves into flags. Actually, Bice, I'm going to send you on an errand. If you would go grab the banner that's up for auction, that's a pretty good example of kind of where it's come to now, right? So we've been tinkering around with this whole flag idea. It goes back as far as 2013. There's one more we'll take out of this box in a second, and we'll show it. That was our first idea of how do you make a glove look like a flag. That the collector community knows what this is, right? So you know what it is. But then you kind of see where it is now. So as Bice is coming up, what Petro's pulling out, a lot of collectors call this the Holy Grail. So this was something we did for our dealers back in 2013. It was never available for sale, which is kind of why everyone wants it, because you could never buy it, right? So what Bice is going to show you now.
A sweet box, Marco.
It is a sweet box, too. Yes, it is. So we gave this to our dealers at the time. So there's always a lot of myth around what this is. It's called the anniversary glove because it's got an anniversary stamp on the back for Wilson's 100th anniversary. But we gave it to our dealers because for the first time in God knows how long, we had good market share data at the time. Wilson was the #1 selling pro stock glove, and that had not happened for decades. And we wanted to support the dealers that were really supportive of us and helping us get there. People that had changed their minds and said, I'm going to carry more of yours instead of the other guys. And we grew, and we did really well. And there were about 25 to 30 of those dealers that did that. But it's always a team effort, right? So what we did at the time was we made this glove, and we made 100 of them, so that part is true. But the way they were given out was if you were one of those dealers that helped us get there, and there was a certain number threshold at the time, I remember what it was, we gave you one of these. We gave one to the salesperson on our team that developed that relationship and helped that dealer come aboard with us, so the salesperson also got one. And then all the members of our team that worked on gloves, guys in our mailroom, guys in our IT department, people, our finance leader at the time, like all the people that empowered us, because it takes an effort in a company to get something done. All the people that believed in us, gave us support, did that. And the dealers that got one got a signed letter from Aso and myself and their customer service person thanking them for their support. So that box, we had a furniture maker in Chicago make this box out of walnut. We took a piece of Pro Stock leather and inlaid on the top of the box the A2000 logo, made a special stand for the box inside. So it's really, really cool, right? So that's the story behind that Grail glove that people chase down. Better Baseball has one, because Better Baseball has been, since the beginning, all in with us on trying to help us do things for ball players first. And so they're one of the original recipients of it. So if you ever pick one up in the market, it's funny, I try to buy one every once in a while. I do have one. But if you ever buy one in the market, ask for the letter. No one has ever coughed up the letter. So everyone got a personalized letter from Aso and I, and no one has ever coughed up the letter. So
yeah, and the rumor is that Better Baseball has had multiple offers for that glove over $5,000. They're denied immediately every time.
Good. Yeah, like I said, and look, if you got one, like there's people on my team that have sold theirs. Like, I got $1,800 for the glove. I'm like, A, you could have gotten more, and B, cool, it's your glove. You do what you want with it, right? It's your glove. So you ever want to take the scratch bias, you go ahead and do that. You probably have to run that past someone at management, but there's that. And then there's one glove that I have brought with me today that is again part of that journey and part of that story. And there's a young man to my right over here. What's your name? Dominic. So Dominic, we're sitting here setting up, and he's like, "Hey man, what's that glove in the bag?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you think that glove in the bag is?" Like, I don't know what that glove in the bag is. But we were talking a lot about prototypes, right? And so for us, and for any glove maker, prototypes are important because you have to make sure the prototype is perfect before you scale that glove into production. And for Ryan and I at the time, prototypes are like that. This was the prototype for that. So what I have in my personal collection, Ryan thinks it's his, but ownership is 9/10 of the law, so it's mine. It's the prototype of the glove in the box, of the dealer anniversary glove. So what I have here is that. So this is our prototype of that glove, and it differs a little bit from what went into production because there's no 100th anniversary stamp on the side. It's still got our factory tag for approval on the front of it that shows this was approved on October 3rd, 2013, which if you work in the glove business, you know the fact that I got these out by Christmas was a really quick turnaround from the factory. So we flew them all over, we got the boxes made, and we did that. So this is the original from that, right? But every glove, when you go to production, has to be so perfect. That's a really big part of what a good glove maker becomes a great glove maker. And I'll look at my friends over there at Nakona for this, and the Rawlings guys were still here. At Prototype, man, that's what you obsess over, making sure that thing is perfect. And so for me at the time as the product manager, I was obsessed with every last detail of this glove. And we said, hey, throw the stamp on there. That was the one last change we made before we put it into production. So we've got this one, not for sale. So it is not for sale. But if I ever need the scratch bias someday, I can be. And now this is the provenance of what it is. So go ahead and pass that around. Just make sure I get it back.
Okay.
And don't shape it. Like some glove people, they love to like take a glove and start to like make it their own. That is not yours. So put your hand in it all you want, but do not make that your glove. Do not shape my glove. That one's mine.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and then to bring that to fruition, right? So Bice showed it a minute ago. So like, where's the flag thing gone, right? So the banner glove is our latest iteration of that, and that is a Ryan Smith special, and that is the best version of what can you do to make a glove a flag. Man, there is no better example of it than that. You want to talk about the banner at all, Ryan?
Yeah, sure. And we're talking, the banner one is the one with the embroidery.
All the embroidery, yeah, all the embroidery.
I never know them by names.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that one was actually a concept. Every year we do 4th of July gloves, always looking to try to make something better and better and better. It's always, how do you one up what you did last year? That was one where I was over at our factory and I was seeing some capabilities that they had, and they did a different glove with some embroidery on it, and right there it hit me. I was like, wait a minute. Can you guys embroider a flag on the back of the glove? Because you also have to remember of like how a glove is constructed. It's sewn together. I think ours are like 56 cut leather pieces. All everything has to line up so it flows together, and you have to do it every time. That's the crazy part and the consistency of it. So I asked if they could do it and make it look like a flag on the back, and that's what they said back to me. And I was like, shoot. And So now we even have iterations of other countries coming out with other people that we're doing. It's a lot of fun, to be honest, and to see what we can do with that. And that's going to lead to other things. Because I will say this, like Marco said, we were always wanting to push the fun in the wild, and then we met the Savannah Bananas, and they really challenged us.
Yeah, they do push the limits. It's really, really frustrating. It's also really, really fulfilling, right? To do all that Bananas work, because these guys are so creative, and we've said anything you can think up, we'll make it. And we've tested those limits really, really hard, but they've been amazing to work with on that. Hey, Bice, do we have another question, by the way? Earlier, I don't know if we had one or not. If we don't, it's okay.
I don't think so yet,
Okay.
but like we said earlier, if you just came in, if you have any questions for Team Wilson,
Please come up to me, ask me. We'll find a good time to ask the experts. So just let us know.
All right. So if there's no current questions, again, Pietro and I, we can run a little bit, but I do want to take a moment. Oh, maybe Bice has a question.
I don't have a question, but I thought now would be a good time to maybe show off a few upcoming BB exclusive designs.
Yes, it would be.
Right behind you.
It would
you
be.
guys can just maybe pass these 1, 2, 3, 4, or 20 of them. I don't know. We're just going to go one by one. These gloves are coming down the pipeline from Wilson. We got a few samples. We just want to give you guys sneak peeks of what's coming.
Oh boy. So you guys might know a little bit more about this than I do. How long ago was it that you guys launched that original Peach glove?
2 years ago. You remember?
I don't remember.
I want to say a year and a half ago. Yeah, a year and a half ago.
So I can see you guys a little better. So that way I can maybe help explain things.
Yeah. So I think that was April of 24.
Okay.
Would have been the first time that one came out.
Yeah, well, the Peach Fuzz leather is awesome, and obviously us being Atlanta-based and Georgia, we were like, we need some more of these. So Ryan got to work for us and made some sick peach gloves. These aren't exactly what will be coming down the pipeline, but these are super, super close to show you a few of these. Again, they have this like peach shade look to them, and this like Peach 2000 logo. They're pretty sick.
And it's cool. It's one of the things I like what Ryan did with this is he made the leather inconsistent on purpose because it's supposed to replicate a peach, right? Like you look at a peach, it's not monochromatic. Like there's shades and waves in it. And so he made the leather emulate the real surface of a peach skin.
Yeah, and the last drop for this is only a 11.5-inch infield glove, so we're trying to launch pretty much every position. I think we're going to have 2 infields, a pitcher, and an outfield glove. So, yeah, really just wanted to show those really quick. We got one last one.
And you'll have lefties too, right? Because as all lefties know, ain't no better place to shop than Better Baseball.
Sure, we've got lefty infield
Yeah,
gloves.
and Ryan's a lefty, so he cares about that a lot.
There we go. Just one more coming down the pipeline. Obviously not a peach, but good looking glove right there. So, not sure when those are coming, but on the live stream, so we can show stuff way, way early, so you guys are the first, and that's why, one big reason you guys come to the live stream.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be coming up, and we will. I'm certain that Mr. Bice will make a video when those shows up. He's good like that. He'll figure that part out.
I think so.
All right. If there's no questions right now, I'll move on to another topic. And I got a lot of topics last night. So for those that didn't come down for this and they're out there, again, there's a lot of people from the glove community that are here. We got a chance to hang out last night, eat some barbecue. Watch the ball game up here on the big screen that Ryan's on right now and just talk a lot. And so I got a lot of questions from some folks. And one of the questions was like, where did the modern glove community come from, right? Like when did this start? Because when I started doing this in 2007 for Wilson, there were 4 types of gloves. And people have heard me say before, you could get 4 different colors. You could get orange tan, and you could get black, and you could get orange tan with black, and you get black with orange tan. And those are the 4 choices that you had, right? And I guess Wilson, every once in a while, you can also get a dark brown glove, right? I mean, it was very, very traditional. These were tools, and there was no collecting of gloves. If there was, it was like you tried to get like a Bill Mazeroski model from like 1964. Like there was like vintage collectors, but there was no modern collectors. And we weren't trying to create anything that was a collector community at the time. But the collector community sprung out of a few different projects that we did. And one of them, and I fail a lot in my career. Like I'm really lucky to work for a company that embraces my failure because I do it all the time. And it costs some money, but they figured out that every once in a while when something hits, like we do okay. But one of those failures is one that I borrowed from Dutch here, who's down here, and I borrowed at the table because this represents one of the biggest failures of my career. And I'm gonna have Bice go ahead and show it to the camera here. And this glove is known, I believe, as Casper.
Yes.
And it was our first attempt at doing a limited edition glove. So Aso and I wanted to do something special. And Brandon Phillips, to this day, is one of the most engaged athletes, Georgia native, one of the most engaged athletes we have ever worked with. Brandon really cared about his glove. Not only the function, hyper critical of that function, like David Wright we talked about earlier, but also had a lot of flair. Oh yeah. So Brandon's big thing, never used an A2000, it was too light. Had to have an A2K because the balance was just right. I know there's an A2K guy in the audience here earlier who feels the same. But he was really meticulous about that, but he wanted to put a lot of style into it. And so I forget why he named it Casper, but he named every glove he made. So if anyone started naming gloves, it was Brandon. Every year when he came in for his design session, he started naming his gloves. And the first one we did with Brandon, Aso and I couldn't keep up. I went and made copies of black and white line drawings and gave him a box of markers, and he started filling in what he wanted to do. And that was how Casper came to be. It was that exact way. And that's when it made us realize we need to get a custom glove builder because more kids might want to do that. So that was the beginning of how Wilson got into the custom glove game. We weren't first. Rawlings did it first, but we really made it player focused and a lot of fun, and that was really a big part of what our builder still is today. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of easy to use. But that was a big part of that. I'm like, well, if Brandon likes this, I bet other people will. So we're going to take 4 ball players and we're going to make gloves in collaboration with them. So those 4 ball players, I'm going to ask the community if they remember, who were the 4 ball players? There was Brandon and there were 3 more special gloves. We made 500 each. Do you remember who they were? Ball player community, anybody? Yes, sir. Barry Larkin, I don't think he was one of them. No, because they were all playing at the time. Now we've done things with Barry. But at that time, yeah, we've done stuff with him, but it wasn't him at the time.
Longoria?
It was, I think was it Evan Longoria? Was one. C.J. Wilson at the time, he had a red glove that he played with, and red was very avant-garde at the time. He made a red glove, and he had one, like, we'll do that. And Cat Osterman. So those were the 4 athletes that we made gloves for. We made special gloves of theirs. We wanted to do something special, so we had a special card made that Aso and the athlete hand signed that was attached to each glove, and we numbered each glove up to 500. And we thought, this is going to sell out in 5 minutes. This thing is an absolute home run. Again, massive failure. Dealers didn't understand it. Nobody bought it. We didn't sell direct to the consumer at the time. There was no Instagram. There might have been a Facebook that was probably for college students to get to know each other. I don't know. But it failed, and it failed hard. This glove, for the glove collector community, was one of the most sought-after gloves you can find. I closed out the last 83 units, and I remember it because it hurt. And I sold them for about $80 to somebody in Louisiana whom I don't remember. So there might be a treasure trove of these brand new with tags, or they may have just been sold off for $120 to whatever kid came wandering through the swamp that day and wanted a glove. I have no idea. Now it's a big deal. Now it's something that's really highly sought after. Back then it was just one more product manager mistake that didn't go so well, right? So, hey, we learned from it, right? But that's the thing, is we all in this industry, we all try stuff. Mizuno was legendary for trying things that look weird and come from Japan, but man, some of the coolest stuff comes from there. Our friends at Makona did something yesterday. They're doing a thing called Precision Edge technology that puts all the welting on the outside that makes the glove light. Super cool, right? And all these kinds of things, that's where, even if they don't work the first time, like if ball players like it, you know there's a benefit, like stick with it, man. Like that's one of the things for us as product developers and shepherds of that. Like we're really proud of the things that are like, yeah, nobody bought it, but man, there's something there. Let's give it one more crack. Let's get 2 more crack. And the people at Better Baseball are so good about this. Cam is so good at telling us what we do wrong. Again, that critical feedback is essential because Cam's got to fix all our mistakes, right? He sees them firsthand. So that feedback from all the ball players that come in here is really, really valuable and helps us figure stuff out.
I'm loving this so far, but we did have a great question from the live stream.
Great. Hey, someone's tuned in. That's cool.
Yeah, someone's toned in. If you guys got questions, let us know. It was from Elijah Moses Photo. He was asking, what goes into working with a foundation like Autism Speaks, and how does that come to, into collaboration and everything?
That is cool. That's one of the gloves we actually got on the table. So I'll talk a little bit about that one. So what Petro's got right here, and Vice, if you want to hold that one up. This is the very first Autism Speaks glove we did back in 2019. And it was something that was a test of an idea, right? And so again, you try things, you don't know if they're going to work. And again, this is it always comes from ball players and customers. That's where our best ideas start. So this started, and it actually started on something that I think is really negative. I like telling this as part of the story because something really negative turns into something really positive if you kind of understand the root of it. Wilson had a change in their presidency in about 2013. And a guy that hired me, his name is Chris Considine, and my boss, Jim Hackett, still to this day, they took a chance on me. And one of the things that Chris had promoted to all of us was this partnership we had with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. And Wilson was a working partner with them that started by an employee, a woman named Cynthia Shipper that worked in our racket department. And she developed this relationship in our tennis and golf categories, made these products called Hope. And Hope products, and some of you may know what those are. If you're in your mid-20s, your early 30s, like you may have had like a Hope DeMarini bat or a Hope A2000 we made at the time. And the edict from Chris when we worked for him was every department will do this. And us being a bunch of dudes are like, yeah, well, breast cancer dudes, I don't know. Oh, I guess we make fast pitch gloves too, or we kind of tried to at the time, weren't great at it. But like, let's try and figure out what to do because the boss made us do it. And we made a softball bat at the time that was it was a banger of a softball bat. It got a following, and we did a few thousand, and they sold out, and we did the glove, and it did okay. And then the next year, the bat was the thing that really took off. Well, this new president came in and in cost-cutting mode, so we're not going to spend money on these things, so we're going to terminate this relationship. And that bothered a lot of people, myself included, really bothered our customers and really bothered our athletes. Still to this day, we get asked for Hope products. Are you going to make those again? Will you do it? And that relationship that was a wonderful organization to work with got terminated. And we had people asking us about that. And so the question became, well, maybe we can start up a relationship with somebody else. This president still worked there at the time, because we just didn't tell him about it. We're going to start doing something that's meaningful to our ball players. And one of the things that we recognized from people that worked for us, people that we worked with, we spent a lot of time at ball fields, is there were a lot of kids that were on the spectrum that were on the field. Maybe they were a sibling, watching their sibling play. And it was just something that seemed to be around a lot of the families that we worked with. We had a number of employees who had kids that were on the spectrum, and we thought, well, maybe we can do something about that. And I'll credit someone in this room. I don't see him right now, but he's here. There's a guy named Jay McAvoy who's here, and he's always had ball gloves at the center of what is really building community and doing good in the world through ball gloves, which doesn't sound like a thing that makes any sense, but he has shown us the way to do that. And Jay has been doing that for a long time. And I thought, well, maybe there's a way for us to do something for this community with these products that people value. So let's try and make our own. So this woman, Cynthia, that works with us, kind of showed me what she did. She really helped me get the thing set up. We started this partnership with Autism Speaks, and what we understood is that people love a good product, first and foremost. And if there's a great cause tied to it, they will support it. Now, if there's a great cause and a terrible product, they won't buy it. And we had a couple of those in this launch too, but this one did really well. This 1786, the colors were great. It tied into their logo, and the first generation sold out really, really fast. So we made a next one. The next one sold out pretty quickly, and we began to expand that partnership. And those people that do that with us, they are great shepherds for us. And our answer is always, what can we do to help? Right? This is this community. We're here to serve it. We're here to sell products. We write you a check. Everyone's happy for the check. It's good. Checks matter. Money drives initiatives, and that's important. But what can we do to relate to our community? So that's a big part of what we do. And a big part of that is asking every retailer that carries that product. So if you see a Love the Moment product out there, our Atlas bat from Louisville Slugger is amazing. We do some guards. We have done a full line of A2000s that Mike and Ryan have done. We have a new one coming out for next April. If you're a retailer that carries that, you have to do something to support the autistic community. That means you train your associates to make it a better place to shop if you're on the spectrum. That means that you engage in additional fundraising if that's something that you can do. But you got to do something to support. You don't just get to sell the great product everybody likes. You got to help too. And that's been a big part of what we do with that. When we do these partnerships, we want to make sure we're doing something to actively help, not just raise money. So that's where that comes from. And this last year and now this next year, we have people that are allies in the community, and we have people that are on the spectrum designing the product with us as well. So this past year, a young man from Chicago wrote us a note, and he was very clear about something we had done wrong, because again, critical feedback is a gift. He's on the spectrum, he plays first base, and we didn't make a first base glove. And he said, and his letter basically said that, and why not? And so we reached back out to him and his mother and said, you are 100% right, that's our bad, why don't you come in the office and design it with us? And so Ryan met up with him. He told us he's also a left-handed pitcher, so we designed our pitcher's model and our first base model that are currently available right now. And another young man on the spectrum has helped us develop for next year, because we want to make sure we're creating jobs for people on the spectrum and make sure that they know that everybody can do every job. And if you're autistic, that doesn't mean you can't do something. And we want to lead by example doing that. So that's part of our latest initiative with Autism Speaks as well. So a long-winded answer, I get it. But also it's one of those things that you can tell but all of us really care about this. And Ryan's done a great job with it too. So he's been central to us being able to execute on that mission.
Awesome. Well, that's really, really fun stuff to know. And it gave me an idea. We need to do another giveaway. I was going to open this up to our audience here. The question is, what's a cause or organization that you would love to see Wilson do a glove with? Let's hear a few ideas. Like, what you got? What you got? Make-A-Wish, that's a good one. Any other good ideas? What you got? St. Jude? I think there's been maybe a baseball St. Jude.
We actually do a lot with Shriners. And we haven't
Shriner,
done
yes.
But St. Jude's is an awesome organization.
Breast cancer? Yep, we've done some breast cancer stuff. What you got? Alex's Lemonade Stand. I'm not familiar with that.
I've heard of that.
Well, we're going to have to look it up, and I like that answer. So you get a free glove, dude. That was the Better Baseball exclusive Lasso A2000. There we go.
Awesome. Nice. And that's one of the things that, again, it's like, again, we're here. We're talking about Wilson, but I like I said, we're not talking about Wilson. I encourage every manufacturer out there, do these things and do them well. Like, we do have a platform to do good in the world. There's an old series called Silicon Valley, and every tech company has started to make the world a better place. That's the running joke. And look, we sell baseball gloves. It's not our job to make the world a better place. It's our job to make cool stuff, and maybe people like our stuff. It brings someone some joy, and so there's that. But we also do get to anyone who's paying attention to me talk today for some reason. Look, we have a platform to do some good, right? And so we should use the platforms we have, and we have so many manufacturers that can do similar things for great causes. I really hope that someone heard this today and takes one of those recommendations and does something that's great for a good organization. And for those or for a different one that they really connect with in their community, we can do really cool stuff for a lot of people through ball gloves and through bats. And with our travel ball organizations. I see so many great travel ball organizations now that are focused on character, and they're teaching their kids character, and that's something that we've learned. Mike was a college ball player at Dominican University. Ryan played a little college ball himself. I sucked, so I did not. But Bice played a little college ball. So many people in here did. And now today, if you're an elite college program, I've heard so many coaches say this, I can get this is not said with arrogance, I can get any kid that I want, fill in name of premier Omaha regular attendee school here. I recruit on character. I want to know what this kid brings to my clubhouse. I want to know what kind of teammate he's going to be or she's going to be. Talent's there, and I can coach up talent. That's my job. But I need the parents to develop the character for them on the way up. I want kids coming in with great character, and I can polish up the diamond skills. And again, these things that we do, these travel organizations that teach it have leaned into our causes and other ones. They're teaching those kids character too, right? And that's a big way to help you get to the next level and do some cool stuff.
And to that point, to the kids that are right here or on the live stream, when you see cool stuff like this, take in the moment, whether you're in town for a tournament, you have those experiences, whether you're walking into this magnificent superstore for the first time, you're seeing all this stuff, you feel like you're in heaven. You can turn all these experiences into a lifelong dream of yours that you can live out in reality. A cool story that I'm going to talk about a little bit, and it has to do with one of the gloves on the table, one of the gloves that's in Glove World in the back there. When Marco and Ryan and Wilson decided to introduce the Glove of the Month program, the first model was a Starlin Castro and Darwin Barney tandem glove. Essentially, they used the same model, same colorway. That was the first Glove of the Month. I was here the day that launched at Better Baseball across the street in their original store. The day that launched, I was in town for a tournament, and I wanted that thing so bad. And I'm in Better Baseball. I'm in heaven. I'm I don't even know what to look at. And I turned that and that love for baseball, love for the game, love for ball gloves into something. And that's why I'm sitting here today. And so like all the kids in here, like really utilize your experiences. Remember what you see here today, what you hear from us, what you experience with your teammates. Like you can turn your baseball playing days into a life filled with baseball and great people and great experiences.
Hey, Petro, did your dad buy you that glove?
No.
So
No.
much like Mr. Bice, you didn't go home with it either.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the parents finally say no. It's probably a good thing. But in honor of the first ever Glove of the Month, we do have a Glove of the Month book right here. So I'm going to give this away. It's these kids in a Brave shirt. Piece of history. It's got literally pictures of the first 100 Glove of the Months. Do you guys know what you are at now? We're going to be like 140. Are we going to see a 1 through 200 re-release?
There's someone here better at math than me that probably knows, and we did them every 12 months until a couple of months ago we did every 8 months because we started launching seasonal collections. So I don't know, $150, 120, 150, something like that. Again, someone will figure it out.
Right around like it's been 2 years since the 100, and so I'm guessing 4 months not accounted for, with launches. So we're probably at about 120.
120, and that was another thing that like we didn't plan on it. The story of the Glove of the Month, people say, why'd you do that? It was a dealer request. That was a riddle for us to solve because we got to run a business, but also do things that dealers want. And again, so this is fresh off the failure of that A2K that you guys have seen that Dutch let me borrow. It's fresh off that failure of trying to do something colorful and special that nobody wanted. And this dealer said, hey, Rawlings lets me use excess leather at the end of their production run from their pro line to make gloves for my store. It's a dealer out, it's still there in San Leandro, California. It's called West Coast Sporting Goods. West Coast Sporting Goods is an icon in the Northeast. It is the exact opposite of Better Baseball. It's not like old Better Baseball. It's a warehouse. It is not beautifully merchandised, but man, ball players know. If you live anywhere that's a 5-hour drive to San Leandro, ball players know what West Coast is. And the guy that runs it, Jeff, is a wonderful guy. And Jeff and I were just talking one day about, well, could we do better or what is there? And he said, do this thing Rawlings does. I want to make like 12 gloves that nobody else has. And don't put them on the internet because I don't have an internet site. Jeff, I can't make it 12 gloves. There's like no efficiencies in that. Like at the time, I have to make 144 gloves for my factory to take an order. I can't make it 12. He's like, well, find a way to make me 12. So I got on the plane home that night and like, find a way to make him 12. That was the riddle, right? Like, how do we make this guy 12 of something? And I'm like, can I sell it to other people? He's like, yeah, as long as you don't put it on the internet, because I really don't want this to be a thing people find on the internet. I want people to come to my store. Okay. So we looked at all of our dealers and we were, again, working on these ideas of how we can grow our business. And we said, well, maybe if I make 12 for 12 different dealers, that's 144, I can make that work. So I started asking other dealers, like, well, I'll take 2, but I don't want like 12. Like, well, how many would you take? 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, whatever it was. So kept cold calling until we got to 144. And then we had to figure out what to make. And I'm a Cubs fan and a homer, so glove number 1 is what I wanted. There's no research in that. I love Starlin Castro. I love Darwin Barney. Dar was a teammate of one of our salesmen. They both won championships in Oregon State. Like that's one of our sponsor schools. Like that's number 1. Ryan, you picked 2 through 6, but I picked number 1. This is it. So we made this first collection. We sold them out, and again, just counting on failure now because we failed. And they didn't fail. Actually, one of them failed, and it's back there, and it got bought in the back room. We did a pink breast cancer awareness, $17.99, and I had dealers call up and say, I will not do this subscription service from you ever again. If you're going to always put one turd in the punch bowl, I don't want this anymore. As we lost some. But some other guys called back and said, I'll take another 2 or 3, and I'll do that. And that's how Glove of the Month was born. It was a dealer idea that we tried. We prepared for failure. It actually didn't succeed, but it didn't fail. But then it never went away, right? I mean, and then Ryan really got in tune with like, what do you like? So it was a lot of that ball player feedback and dealer feedback of what do you want to see and what should we do next? And we could do it in small runs, and it stuck around. And I do believe that's kind of where the modern glove collector community came from, was this thing that kids chase down. And we have not kids anymore. There are major league athletes that come into our office with Ryan and Aso to design. And they'll walk by the Glove of the Month wall. We have every Glove of the Month up on the wall. And they'll walk through and they know, oh, the October 216, I totally remember that one. I wanted that one and my dad wouldn't get it for me. One of those athletes, his dad had enough money and he was pretty good. His name was Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. wanted a glove that his dad also would not buy for him. That was a glove of the month. And Petro, you were around for this conversation, so we talked about things that are coming up. Why don't you, I think you were around for this conversation. If not, maybe you're looking at me like you weren't.
I wasn't with Bobby that day.
Oh, you weren't? Ryan was. So Ryan, tell the story about an upcoming product that we have. We don't know where it's going to be, but it's going to make it to production. So tell that Bobby story.
Wait, you want me to tell the new Bobby story?
The new Bobby story, yes. The new Bobby story for the... Oh, do you have it right there? Apparently we do. Look at this. Look at the live stream exclusive.
This is why we joined the Better Baseball live stream.
The Mizuno guy, a guy named Will Startup, talked about... Oh, we can do that one too. I was thinking about a different one, but that is snappy. Yeah, get the other one. So get the other one. Bobby's a glove nerd, right? So Bobby's one of us. Like, he's really into this stuff. And so there's a couple of different things. And yesterday, by the way, the Mizuno guy was talking about the Master Craftsman and he brought this awesome Ichiro broken in glove that we all got to try on. That was a really cool glove, and he talked about how he got to borrow it from the Master Craftsman's office that has all these gloves up on the wall and how beautiful it is. And you're in your closet with a baker's rack. This is how we treat our designers right here. There's no grand office for Ryan that he gets to work through. He's in a closet in the house. So we're a little more scrappy than the Mizuno guys are apparently. But Ryan, talk about the one inspired by the glove of the month Bobby couldn't have. Do you have that one?
No, I don't have one with me right now. That's my favorite story here.
Okay. But talk about the story though.
Let me talk about the story. Yeah, Bobby is one. So I've worked with Bobby now a couple times where he's come into the office, and every time he comes in, he points to the glove of the month. Like, he can name that. He can tell you what month and year each one is. I can't do that, and I've created 98% of them. I can never tell you which one. But so Bobby can come in. Well, we were sitting there talking. We already created this glove, which we'll get to in a second.
Very cool.
But, and then he was like, I want to do a second one. He goes, hey, is that the original Pedroia up there, the brown with the black, which is the original? He's like, I've always wanted one of those. And that's the one that that his dad wouldn't buy him, right? Marco?
Say what?
I said that's the one his dad wouldn't buy him.
That's
Pedroia.
That's the one.
So he was like, my dad wouldn't buy me that. I've always wanted one of those. And basically looked at him and we're like, well, why don't you make one? You're Bobby Witt Jr. now. You can do it. And so he did. He did one inspired off of that color, but using a little bit of Royals colors. So you will see one like that. And then the other thing that we did with him was a fun little Chinook collab where he's a part of the Chinook seed company, and so his flavor is lemon pepper, so we wanted to have a little fun with that too. So, and you can even see that the welting here is got a little bit of gradient welting, which is something new and fun that we're doing too. So all sorts of fun stuff's in the pipeline for us.
Yeah, super cool, right? But when you see these athletes coming in, he's not the only one. Colin Holderman's a guy that came in that used to buy and trade gloves of the month back when he was in college and when he was a kid and stuff like that. So it's so cool. When I see kids in here that are seeing this 10 years from now, someone who wandered through here today online, one of these guys, if we're lucky, they're going to be making their glove of the month or their production model that goes everywhere or something like that, right? Yeah. Because it's just been part of it. By the way, we showed Petro's old sample in here, Ryan, because you gave him that glove when he first started.
Which one?
The DP15 A2K, the one that you're talking about. So we actually had it here because Petro brought some out of his collection here, and that was one that he brought with him.
So now that we know that Bobby Witt Jr. is a big glove collector, I think he needs to be our host at next year's Glove Fest.
Well, if you host it this time next year, I am obligated to believe, I am a part-time Royals fan, that Bobby's going to be busy next year if you're holding this in the middle of October. He's going to have stuff to do. At least that's his plan, I know for sure. It's also what I hope for.
Fair enough.
All right, we've been going for a minute.
Do we have any last
second questions or anything we want to cover before we...
I just saw a handsome gentleman walk up with a well-tailored mustache and an apron that weighs about 7 pounds. So I'm going to ask him if he has a question. I don't know if he does, but Cam, we're here with the world. You are the master craftsman here at Better Baseball. We have Ryan Smith, who is our glove legend here, and you've met him many times and worked with him.
I'll say, Cam might have already asked all of his great questions over some dinners the last year or two.
I know, but there might be some of those
might be a new one
here and tee up. What's good for the glove community here, Cam? What do you think?
Oh, we get Cam up in frame here. Again, we got to show that mustache off.
Ryan says hello, Cam.
Hello, Ryan.
And he can't see you, by the way. You can see him, but he can't see you. Oh, you can. Now you can. All right, excellent.
So my question is just for players. We see a lot of players going towards the vibrant colors, right? The pinks, the blues, the yellows, things like that. Do you guys see a lot of pro guys going that way? Or do you see a lot of them staying away from that? And is there any kind of like durability issue, I guess, you see with those kind of colors?
I'll answer this one for you. We see pro guys going to colors, but here's the deal. It all depends. Like, people aren't too aggressive with the colors because they know that they're not, people get traded and they leave teams, and, guys aren't on teams as much as they used to be. So there's a lot more in neutral because you never know if you're going to be sticking with that team, by the end of the year. The guys that do go with the fun, wild colors are usually the ones who, they have wild personalities anyway. Like, you can start naming those guys, and I'll be like, oh yeah, wild personality. Like Randy Arozarena, wild personality. He goes wild with colors. I'll give Matt Boyd does wilder colors for a pitcher. I wouldn't say he's a wild personality guy, but he definitely has wants to, look a little, have a style on the mound. Who else can I think of here?
Hey Ryan, is Dansby Swanson a guy who lives on the edge and really wants to explore the boundaries of color?
No.
Yeah.
No, he's not. But Ozzie always likes to, he likes to have some fun with his gloves. Ozzie would have more fun with his gloves if Atlanta puts restrictions on what you can do. That's the other thing. Some major league teams say you can do this, this, and this. Like, I remember one time I had somebody from a very prominent team out of New York tell me to stop making gloves so colorful for the players. And I was like, sorry, man, we make what the players want. Like, that's how we roll. So you got to talk to them.
And like the kids here, young players here, as you go through seasons, years, as you grow up, like, know what makes you feel good out on the field. Like, it's kind of the old adage, like, you look good, you feel good, you play good. Like, as you go through, like, you might realize, like, hey, this flashy glove with every color under the sun, like, it's loud, it clogs your mind. Like, as baseball players, as softball players, we're such cerebral people out there. Superstition you can debate me on this all you want. Superstition is a real thing. When you build up that feel, you know what you like, you know what you don't. Like tailor yourself and what your needs are for your mind, for how you feel on the field, for your play. And so don't feel like you just have to go for the bright and flashy thing because that's what you think everybody wants. Like think through what you want.
Your glove is your glove, right?
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, Pedro, because one of the best stories, Zach Britton, who was a closer for the Orioles and Yankees throughout the years, he was superstitious. He had this one glove that he only used in games. And he had a glove that had a rip right through here, all the way down to the palm. That was his game glove, though. He was so superstitious. I was like, dude, just use another one. Like, I'll give you 2 every year. He was like, no, man. He's like, this is what I use. And I was like, well, can we send it off to get it fixed? And he was like, no, man, this is what I use. So, like, that's superstition, where your glove basically is ripping apart, but nope, that's the one you're using.
Yeah, and it's really important. Like what Mike said is essential. Like anyone who plays, especially anyone who coaches, getting your mind right, I swear, is 85% of baseball, if not more, right? Yeah. So whatever gets your mind right, that's the most important thing. Not what everybody else wants, not the cool, but if that's what it does for you, it's great. And it also, it's like, we get our mortgages paid by you buying baseball gloves. It's all fine and good, but people like Cam can fix the glove that you have and make it really good. And there's a glove back there. There's an all-star catcher's mitt. Is that Benji Molina's that's back there? There's a Benji Molina back there that has got more miles on it than most catcher's mitts I've ever seen. And I've met those ball players. Craig Counsell, who is currently the manager of the Cubs, he was a lifelong A2000 customer, and Aso worked with him every year. And every ball player, for what it's worth, we give our ball players 2 gloves at spring training camp every year. right? And when you're a regular major leaguer, you get custom gloves now. That's your thing. And Craig was a regular major leaguer, and every year he did not want his 2 custom gloves. He wanted Aso to fix his A2000 Super Skin model. And so throughout his entire career, I believe he used 1 glove, maybe 2. And every year that glove would come into headquarters, and I'd see it every November. And Aso, I'm like, Aso, what is that? He's like, oh, Greg Council, make me fix. I'm like, what? Make you fix? I'm like, just give him a new one. No new, fix. Aso, there's a hole in the palm. That palm liner is shredded. Aso took it all apart, hand cut the parts, did all the things, put it back together. Original Super Skin, by the way, on that glove when he retired. So it had the original Super Skin on it, but everything else in that glove had been changed out. Clayton Kershaw took the first glove he got at spring training camp when he was like number 96. There's a really good story Sean Casey told recently about, I think he was the first person to ever face Kershaw in a spring training game. And he's like, he sees number 96, and he's like, I'm Sean Casey. And he just makes him look silly. And he's like, oh my God, who's 96? 96 was Clayton Kershaw. The glove he got at camp that year was an out-of-the-bag B2 that we give our prospects and things like that. And he took it. And he used that glove every year until they won the World Series, and then he finally decided it was time to retire that one. Every year he got 2 new gloves at camp, just like he likes them. Aso would break them in for him. Like, hey, I got you. He didn't want the one you broke in, Aso. No offense, has nothing to do with you. He just wants it. Well, if that's the relationship you have with your glove, if that's something that keeps the space between your ears and anything else in it living rent-free, go see Cam. Go see some other glove technician in your neighborhood that can help you and let them rehab it. Now, it's not like they can take them all apart and hand cut pieces. Like, that's a little different. But you'd be amazed what a relace job and a little conditioner. You guys make videos online all the time. Some of the guys in this room do. That glove plays really good once you let these guys get a little TLC. So sometimes, again, people think this is about us trying to sell stuff. I swear to you, it's not. If we do our job right, if we serve the ball player, we get enough that they'll keep us around for another season. So trust the people that are out there to help you. And again, that's why Glove Fest is great. That's why I want it to continue, because you learn about the things that you can do. Cam hosted a clinic this morning, teach kids how to relace gloves. It was their kids and dads and moms, and he's walking them through how to do it. And you learn how to do it yourself. I can relace a glove. It's going to take me about 7 hours, and it's going to look bad. The results this morning with Cam's guidance for these kids is pretty good. Maybe next year I'll take it with you. But it's one of, I know you laugh at it because you know I can't do it. So it is funny for Ryan. But it is one of those things, like, this is an expensive sport. People want $500 bats to bang. I get it. Everything doesn't have to be, and you can have great stuff. You don't have to have the flashiest $350 glove that's out there. You can still have something really cool, and you can afford it with your allowance money and Better Baseball and other great places around the country. We're here to help you with that.
All right, well, that was a whole lot about baseball gloves and players, and we cannot thank you guys enough for your partnership that you guys let us do with not just carrying Wilson gloves, but actually being able to help in that design process, and you guys and Ryan being able to walk us through and get us to the next step in baseball gloves. So thank you, you three, for coming out for Glove Fest. And like I said, Bobby Witt Jr. better be here next year, or bad things. No,
yeah, I'm not going to let him know you threatened him, but I will cordially extend the invite to him in the event that he has time free. That is a promise.
Okay, I can take that. I can take that. Well, thank you guys so much for joining today's live stream. Like we said, we got live streams going on the rest of the weekend. Thank you guys so much. Gloves are everything to everyone in this room, and it is just an extension of who you are, your body, and you build a personal connection with them, and that's why we held this event. So I just can't say enough about how good Glove Fest is going so far, and we hope to do it again with you guys.
Absolutely. And for anyone that's here, like, we'll turn the cameras off and all that, but Pietro and I will hang out with the gloves that are up here. So, like, if you want to come, I encourage you, touch them all, feel them all, put your hands in them, do all that stuff. Don't shape them. But go ahead and check them all out, because there's stories with all these and other ones. So if you're interested, come up. If you're not, then don't. Then go about your day.
Ryan, thank you for joining on the FaceTime. I know it's not the best view. You're currently looking at my butt, but that's all right. So
hey, have a good trip, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you guys. BBTV out.